Cheers, mate.
Cheers, mate.
So today,
That was so cute.
in the episode, we have Alicia. I hope that
Yes,
I did it right. Okay, great.
you did. Thank you.
So Alicia, and Alicia works something not everyone does. It's very hard, and I would like from Alicia to tell us more about what she do and her journey.
Yeah. Okay. I really appreciate that you said that. Not everyone can do it. I think sometimes people. Oh, I'm an actor, and
Sorry, I'm sorry. By the way, there is Eliqa on the line.
Yeah, thanks,
Hi,
guys.
Eliqa.
Thank you,
It's 'cause-
Yousef. You're
it's
so nice.
Yeah.
it's
Just-
always too difficult. It's like Alicia and Eliqa, so I'm like, need to listen out for the right A
The right,
sound.
yeah, the right sound.
Okay,
No, please
so,
continue.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm an actor. That's my profession in the creative industry, and I did my actor training. So in the UK, you can do a 3-year degree in acting, and it's, I'd say, like 80% practical. And then at the end of it, you have, an acting degree. And the setup is generally you have your actor training, and in your final year, you do a showcase performance where, top agents throughout the UK come and view this showcase, and you demonstrate your abilities. And then from there, you either get signed by an agent or you don't. I was lucky enough that I was signed by an agent. And prior to that, I went to acting classes since I was 7, I think. Just as something to keep me occupied as a child, because I think I used to always demand everyone in the family would come into the living room and watch me do a dance or a little performance, and I think they just wanted to put themselves out of misery and be like, go to a class. We can't keep up with this. So I've always kind of done acting for as long as I can remember, or performance, and then kind of honed that craft through formal training. And yeah, I got my agent and I started auditioning quite a lot in London. So I'm from the north of England, and particularly when I first started out, the industry was mainly in London, and that was kind of a bit of a barrier. So I was back and forth in London auditioning, and I did some theatre and education. So it was a performance that highlighted really important issues with child exploitation. We were going to schools, go into police departments to educate, and it was based off real life events, and we had quite a lot of disclosures. And for me, that was a real turning point in my understanding of acting. Is it's sharing human experiences, and you have to honor that, because there's so many experiences that we don't know, which can then by default make us ignorant. So I feel like acting's a really amazing tool to just give a bit of understanding and kindness from people. And yeah, that was my kind of real life experience 2 years into it. But unfortunately I became unwell, and I kind of snowballed and thought, I can't act anymore, I'm just gonna stop. So I didn't do it for a while, and then come lockdown, it's a really long-winded story, but basically I worked in travel, and Matt Damon, his family needed flights to Ireland from America, and I used to work in the British Airways operations department, so for groups, and he was filming, I think it was the last duel, and it was literally just on the brink of COVID. We sorted his flights, COVID hit, we needed to cancel and get him back. And it was an absolute nightmare, but we did it. And he sent everybody a hamper in the team. It was most likely his agent, for sure. But just a little hamper with pasta, breads, and a little note. And it wasn't until I'd say a month or two after that we actually opened the hamper. I don't know if it was the same in Dubai, but pasta was really out of stock. Like, it was just like everybody was bulk buying it, and then it was really difficult to get. So then we were like 2 months into lockdown, like we literally cannot obtain any pasta. Let's open Matt Damon's hamper. So we got the pasta from that, and that just made me think, like, gosh, if I didn't quit acting, like, his co-star was Jodie Comer, and she's a amazing actress from Liverpool, literally like down the road from me, real similar age. And I was like, if I didn't quit, like, could that be where I was at? So then I just went online, started following people on social media, then posting videos, and then I built like a network and emailed directors, and from there it snowballed really. I got a short, ADHD potpourri short on BBC iPlayer. I got a role on ITV in a drama series in the UK, which is like, it's been going for like 50 odd years. Like, it's like a staple show back in the UK. And then recently, literally just before we moved over to Dubai, I filmed another role for a Channel 4 program. And like, that was the most I ever progressed, just from taking a step back from the industry actually, and figuring out who I am, and you know how to adult. And then I've came back into
How
it
to
and
adult.
yeah, like I think, like, particularly like when you're at uni or whatever, like, you literally have no concept of like other people's realities. That was for me anyway. It's kind of like, this is my family, this is how you operate, and then you go into the big world and you're like, oh my god, people don't do what I do, and it kind of just shatters your perception of the world. And now we're in Dubai.
The land of opportunities.
yeah, right.
Do you have any questions, Eliqa?
I kind of wanted to go back into the whole acting thing. I think it's amazing that you wanted to pursue acting. Like, what, other than the fact that you wanted to try and understand humanity a bit more, or things like that, like, what made you want to go into acting and take it, like, to where you took it?
It's so hard to articulate it, because it's a feeling, like it there's so many like I've been pretty academic, I guess, in my upbringing to an extent. Like, when I remember when I went to college, so you're like 16, 17, like, you choose your options of what you want to study. And I remember a conversation with my dad, and it was like, oh, I think I want to do drama, like, choose that. And he was very much like, but law, psychology, so these are the types of that you'll get a job type of thing. And I was like, okay, well, I'll do it. And then in your second year you drop one subject, so I was like, I'll drop drama in the second year. So I did law, psychology, sociology, and drama. And it's just always been with acting, it's just something that's just clicked with me, and it's always come natural. Like, I've been around different actors, and everyone operates in a completely different way, but there's something that when I pick up a script, it's a feeling that it's so tangible, and I'm able to kind of disassociate myself and put myself in that character's shoes, and I really love that. And when it came to my second year, I dropped law instead of drama. And then it was kind of a bit of a leap of faith, I guess, then, when it came to that thing of like, what are you going to get your degree in? And I think, like, my parents have always been like supportive and really encouraged us to do what we want, particularly because when they grew up, they didn't have that position to do so. So of course they want us to be in charge of our future. Like follow our dreams, like the cliche goes. So it was definitely like a leap of faith to do it. And I think for me to continue doing it now, I see it as an adult, like how powerful of a change really great stories can do. And I'm a firm believer in, the power of screen, particularly, of positive social impact, because there's theatre and there's total respect, and there's space for it always, but it's not that accessible, particularly from people from a lower socioeconomic background. Like, theatre, I don't know if it's the same here, but in the UK it's really expensive, but pretty much everyone's got access to a screen. They've got their phones or, you know, a TV, and that's I think where people can really, you know, be moved to want to make a positive change, because you'll hear the news and you can hear like what's going on, or like, you know, be up to date with like, you know, politics. But really, when you see a story, when you don't feel like you're being lectured or, you know, here's a lesson to learn, it's just a natural story, and you have from the beginning that connection, human connection, and then you see the outcome of that story. I think that ignites like the viewers and being like, oh my gosh, that makes me think, and how do I help, or how do I even be a better person? I think that's something that's super powerful, and I want to be part of. However that looks, we keep going and see.
No, I love that. Thank you for sharing. I did my it's really interesting because I did my thesis in my degree with acting, but not me. I directed actors basically, and I did my degree in film production. And for my thesis, my topic was is over rehearsing detrimental to an actor's performance, right? And so it's really interesting to have a conversation with an actor who's, you know, doing, an actress who's doing what you're doing, and who, to know how it started and to know what drives you. It's really, really nice. Well, we concluded that it was detrimental, just so that everybody's aware in terms of my thesis.
That is so exciting to hear. It's valid though. At the amount of times like I've had this conversation, I think I don't know if it's like a right of way for actors to be like, oh my gosh, theatre, I love it, and I always feel like I'm a bit of an exception to the rule. I'm like, I actually don't love theatre as much as I love TV or film, and one of the main precedent factors is that I feel like it is over rehearsed, and you're dissecting, and to be an actor is to, you know, show a natural human experience. And how do you do that if you're going over and over again? And also particularly like, I prefer TV and film because it's a controlled environment, and I feel like a controlled environment honors the script more, because you know what the script's end game should be and what the story should be, so you can control that. Whereas on a live performance, there's so many external factors. An audience member could be disruptive, someone could forget the lines, and that little thing will change that experience. And I know this is like that is part of theatre and why people love it, but I think as an actor, it's not about ego. You're literally there to facilitate that storyline, and I feel like TV and film does that because it's a whole production rather than leaving it to chance on the night.
Do you think that there is an actor like can repeat the same feeling for 30 nights in a row?
I think you can portray it, but you're not
as someone in the theater, because that's what makes me don't like it. That I don't feel that they can give me the same feeling every day. They can try as much as possible, but like, we're humans, we have errors, you know. We don't get the same feeling every day. Maybe today I have a fight before I enter the theater, you know.
Yeah.
And that will change everything because I'm a human.
Yeah.
But once you are doing film and you record it and you will be mentally prepared, everything is fine, you enter the scene, you do it correctly, you give me the feeling that I need to feel, and then go away, خلاص, that feeling is preserved.
Yeah, but I guess that's when an actor's training comes in, because it then is depending on what methods they're using to get that feeling. And I think, using your example, 30 days on the trot, I would not approach those 30 days with the same triggering thought or emotion, because it will be diluted if you're thinking that every time. Yeah, so as an actor, then it's your job to be like, okay, how do I replicate this authentically? And that then is certainly more taxing, I think, to do that 30 days, because you're going to have to do some real work to identify what things do I still feel safe, because it can be difficult as an actor to go into that space and do that consistently. But I don't think, I mean, every actor's different, but personally I wouldn't be able to do the same emotion 30 days with the same method. I would have to continually different ways, which then means that you go watch the performance one night and then like 10 days later you go watch it. You're not going to get the same experience because I'm using a different place to come from to draw that emotion. And it's not going to be the consistency, which again goes back to me, like, you're not honoring what the storyline should be or what the objective should be, because it's too open to interpret, like open to chance.
When we worked together, I remember you were going into the scene so quick. I've never seen that before. I've never seen it before, because I see some actors, I don't know what they do or how they rehearse or how the method to act and stuff like that, but like I usually see them prepare for a scene. Like they will take like a 10-minute, 15-minute before the scene. And when, like sometimes like one time I had this series drama and we had a scene about someone, like a father, he will discover that his son has a cancer, so he will cry. And they asked us that he will do it only one time, one shot, and that's all what we have, because he can't cry more than once. And he was an old dude, and he was like a big actor too. And we prepared for the scene. He prepared for the scene for 15 minutes. We all went out from the room. We just left the cameras there, and he did the scene. Okay. For you, that's not the case. You don't care who's behind the camera. You don't care how many people are watching you. Okay. You don't see all of these, and you will be cracking a joke, and suddenly go into character just like that.
I mean, as a disclaimer, I do think it helped that like everybody was speaking Arabic, so like quite a lot of the time, I was like, I can't get distracted. I don't know what's going on. No, but I think like
I know what you're saying.
It comes back to like your toolbox as an actor, like what is your toolbox and what does that look like? And I think particularly with there's I don't want to give too much away about the short, but you know there's moments where there's emotional elements to it for sure, and for me it's going back to again like safeguarding yourself as well as an actor. And you'll hear people like, you know, doing the Stanislavski method and look at like really into it as if they are the character, like method acting, whereas for me it's breath work, you know, to I learned it. So when I was doing my training, a few of us got selected to go to France to do Roy Hart Theatre, and we would literally learn all about the voice and connecting that. And one of the tricks I still use to this day is emotional recall, but through breath. And it's the way you think about, like, you know, when you laugh, right, it's outward breath, it's like ha ha ha, but when you cry, it's like 3. And if you do that enough, your brain you can trick your brain that you're feeling emotional, because that's when you're crying, that's the breath that you do. So that's something that helps me get into that state quickly, because I know and I appreciate that there's more than me in that room. The director has got a call sheet and he needs to, you know, get on that. And I'm very aware, like, that if I don't do my prep, as in, you know, analyze the text, why does the character feel this way? If I'm not doing that legwork and I'm doing it then on set, that's a domino effect for everybody else, because then that's going to delay everybody's schedule. And you just got to be prepared. And I don't know if that's something as an experience, but the likelihood is that you're going to do a take, and it might be the best take. It might be you might have like been the best performance ever, but there was something wrong with the sound, or like you can see the boom and shot. Like there could be so many things. So you have to know that you're going to have to come back and do it again. And I think when it's a zone. I don't know how else to describe it. It's a zone. Like, I don't see you. I literally, I like a really good example actually. The first TV credit that I did was for Coronation Street, and I had to do it that the POV was the camera, so I had to direct my lines directly to the camera. Now, throughout all of my training as an actor, do not look at the camera. Don't look at it. Don't look at it. So when the director asked me to do that, like, we had to do, like, I think it was like the 3rd take, because I kept looking at, like, I kept not looking at the camera because it was so like ingrained into me. Like I don't think about a lot of things because during your actor training, it's just drilled into you. So like the camera, like the crew, like I don't actually see you guys.
No, but that's good. That's good.
It's a block. Like, do you feel like you?
Yeah, definitely.
If you have this ability, does this ability makes you a good actor? Does it, like, okay, I'm a normal human being that doesn't know anything about acting, and will that be the decisive moment for me to say, okay, he's a good actor or he's a bad actor?
Yeah and no. I think those type of things are just like tools that will make you a better actor. I do think there's to an extent acting can't be learned. I feel like from my experience, like you either have that natural ability or you don't. But that natural ability, I think, is better service for like screen, because on theatre you have to be big, because there's like Joe Smith, like rows and rows ahead, that has to see you as the same as someone at the front. So your performance has to be bigger. And I think that is easier to learn because, again, this is always just my perspective, but I think to learn theatre is easier because it's definitely a character. Like it's a performance that you're removing yourself and you're putting that on. And I think with screen, because it's so intimate and it's so natural, that you really have to learn how to work that. And I think that's a natural inclination, and then from that you can build on it for sure. But what makes you a good actor? I honestly think the more experience with different personalities, different communities, and your own personal experiences will enrich you, and that will massively help you. And I think for me, I've had significant I was diagnosed with an autoimmune disease when I was 18, so that was a real turning point, and I think that was a huge learning curve, and it drilled a lot of empathy. So what am I getting?
Black tea with mint, and you never tried mint with tea?
Like a peppermint tea? No,
like mint leaves.
It's just mint
in a tea.
In a tea. Yeah,
that's mind blowing. Let's do it.
It gives a different
it's great
feeling for the tea.
Yeah,
I am prepared for this journey.
It's not a taste, it's a feeling, you know, because a taste is
it's not a taste,
it's too little for mint, you know. It gives a feeling.
No,
I feel like this should be your tagline now. It's the feeling.
She has this British accent.
American.
Who?
No, she has a British accent.
I do not have a British accent.
It sounds American accent to me.
No, she will be talking and then she will be like, innit? Yeah.
Listen, no, okay, it comes out like sometimes. I went to a British school, by the way, Alicia.
No way.
I lived in Dubai for 13 years. I went to a British school. I did my IGs. You know, so
that's cool.
But Disney Channel is the reason I have an American accent.
Right. Okay. That's quite a thing though. Here, I found like people who've got like super amazing English. It comes with like an American twang.
She has multiple accents. She doesn't just have like a British and American accent.
No, first of all,
have a Malay accent.
No, don't.
What determines the accents coming out?
That I discovered when I went there. I discovered that she has a third accent that no one hears about. Except
no one will hear
the people that they talk to her in Malay. And then she will be answering them. As an example, she will be like talking to someone like to me in English, and suddenly she will look at a Malay person and she will be like, "Eh, burger la."
First of all, bro,
it's
you
English,
can't just throw me under the
Why
bus,
did you need to?
fam.
Why did you need to change the accent?
I was not prepared for this.
We have this. How do I explain it? It's like we want people to feel understood. You know what I mean? So I don't know if it's a Malaysian thing. I think you go to any Malaysian, we all are able to adapt our accents. imparting.
No, all of them they
Shut
speak
the front
they
door, bro.
speak this accent except you, and you make it up just to let them, you know.
Everybody does it. Like, okay, for example, yeah, like if there's a, let's say you're out and you're having a conversation, and a majority of Malaysians speak English, by the way. So, but they will have an accent, whether it's a Chinese accent or an Indian accent or a Malay accent, right? As a Malaysian, our brains are wired so that we can just switch the accent when necessary. And honestly, not a lot of people see it, yeah, because like obviously in Dubai, why would I need to do that?
Yeah.
And it just so happens that this guy came and saw me in my natural habitat. And it blew his mind because he's like, wait a minute, who is this? Who's talking right now?
Like, for me,
Why is your why?
she's not speaking a different language.
But that
It's
sounds
English.
like you and I had like this similar conversation on South, no? Like where, so like when I go back and I'm with family, like my accent is so strong because
Becomes
I'm around
thicker.
people with, yeah, it becomes thicker, exactly. And I'm sure you said the same. Or like when, was it like your dad or someone?
Yeah,
Like,
with my dad, I have in Arabic we have. Okay, as an example, I will tell you if
Suspense.
you're someone who's not my family, I will be like, قلت لك تعملي الشيء. Okay, with my father accent, with my family, it will be like قلت لك تعملي الشيء. It's not like قلت لك. It will be like قلت
Okay.
is that
لك.
harsher?
It's the same one, but like we make it more manly.
Right.
But
Still
does
be
it
given a
does it
grief.
sound? But it sounds the same though, right?
No, it doesn't sound the same.
That
As
sounds
in
like
like
harsher
tone
to
wise,
me.
like in terms of accent.
It's the same accent.
طيب.
It doesn't
It's like a
change,
different pitch.
but it's a different
It's a
aggressiveness
different
to the word.
aggressiveness. Okay.
Like with my father's family, because we're farmers originally, like my grandfather and stuff. So they speak in a heavier language, like and heavier accent. Like قلت لك, as an example, تعال جاي. Okay, it means come over. But if I will be with someone who's outside of the family, I will be like تعال هون. Come
تعال
over.
هون. Okay.
تعال هون.
Okay, got it.
That's
See,
softer.
smoother. Yeah. It's about, I don't know. Some people they think it's more manly to be like,
Yeah.
you know. So,
It's
yeah.
like more, I don't know, air to it. Like calmer.
Yeah,
Like
kinda.
what?
Like
What
calmer.
did you say?
Calmer.
Oh.
Like, yeah. Oh, here's our things.
So we're here and we got
Yeah.
our tea. And thank you, Eliqa, for being with us. And cheers.
Thank you.
Thanks.
I can't believe that I'm having mint leaves in a tea. It's wild.